Okay, just loading up. First time we've done a live stream, so got the audience and we also have everybody else inside. So, all right, welcome everybody to the Elite Trade. Loading up. First time we've done it. I guess I got to mute one of the speakers. Okay, all the fun stuff we get to learn here. Okay. We get to crop this too. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Elite Trade. What we're going to do today is show you basically a way to look for that desired trade. Many times traders are looking at charts and they're not even sure what they're looking for. They're kind of thinking they want something to happen, but they're not sure what is needed on the left-hand side of the chart to make the right-hand side of the chart work in their favor. Okay. Now, understanding what the desired trade is to take a look at some charts. I'll just pull one up at a glance here. I'll bring up my is when we're looking at charts, we say, oh, wow, I wish I would have taken a trade short, like right there, or I wish I would have taken a trade long down here, or even down here, nice uptrend. So in a desired trade, what is it you're looking for? Okay, well, what are you trying to create on the price chart? Okay, so as we get started here, that's what we're going to focus on is what is that picture on the price chart that you wish you were in a trade? Okay, this is one of the more important things is studying the left-hand side of the chart so you know what to expect and how to manage risk. Right. So let's do a short disclosure before we get started. The information in this presentation or contained in this presentation should not be construed as a recommendation or an offer to buy or sell any security or financial instrument. Additionally, information contained in the presentation does not imply the suitability of any investment strategy. We are not licensed brokers or investment advisors. All attendees of this presentation and purchasers of our content are encouraged to speak with a licensed representative of their choice regarding the appropriateness of investing, trading of any investment, and any trading strategy. We're using real-time market data and we'll be executing trades in a simulated account during presentations. No offer on our part respect to the sale or purchase of any securities is intended or implied, and nothing contained in this should be construed as a recommendation to take a position in the market. The intent of this information is for instructional purposes only, and any fair use of third-party trademarks or logos does not imply affiliation or sponsorship. All trading involves high risk. Past performance is not indicative of future results. And we make no promises, guarantees, warranties, suggesting that any information shared will result in a profit, not in a loss. You agree to not hold us legally or financially responsible for any reason. All right, so as we get started, okay, everybody has chat capabilities. So if you'd like to ask questions, please do so, okay? I strongly encourage you to interact and ask the tough questions, okay? Because I'm going to start showing you some things that are very profound. They were really profound to me when I first started seeing them and putting them together. In fact, I couldn't believe my eyes. It's like, wow, how did that happen? Okay. Over the years, and I'm going to come back to a workspace over here. We got conditioned to look at charts a certain way, and many times charts. I'm just going to, people have different data on their charts, and sometimes the charts are like right over here, up against the price is right against the hard right edge, and that limits people to visualize what should happen to the left hand or to the right hand side of the chart. So as I'm putting a few of these together, okay. First, I want to look at a couple of charts here and just say, at a glance, what is it you desire to create? Okay. So if I'm looking at this chart on Disney, I got a 120-minute chart, and the time frame really doesn't matter, okay? Not when you're looking for the right picture on the price chart, okay? So with this particular chart, I'm going to say, I have a desired, I wish I would have taken that trade short this morning, okay, over the last couple of days. Okay, how many would love to take the trade short right at that point, capitalize on a move down? Okay. Well, what information is over on the left-hand side of the chart that makes this desired trade a probability? Okay. So as we look at where we want to enter the trade, we'll look left. Now, as we look left, we're going to look first, and part of this class today is just to expose you a little bit to this, is we're going to look right in this area right here for a very specific group of candles. Now, the nice thing about trading or working on the left-hand side of the chart is you're not really looking for a trade. The trade is already manifested. But what was all the evidence right here to make this a reality? Okay. Now, I'm going to go walk you through a couple of the pictures over here so that we have an idea of what it is we're looking for. To identify the precise entry and exit points for every futures trade or stock or any chart, okay, we will utilize the Elite Trade's own leg-based group of candles. These group of candles are where we isolate our buy and sell zones, okay? Now, this is a very specific group of candles, and colors matter. We're going to get right into the details of what that looks like. Now, again, I want to preface that time frame doesn't matter. Almost all traders look at a chart and they see the peaks and valleys. They see everything that's going on in that chart before they look at a time frame, before they start diving into candles. Of course, the red and green candles, they kind of excite you and get you connected a little bit more emotionally to the chart, okay? But what group of candles is always present in a place where we have desired to take a trade, okay? And I want to present to you the leg-based group of candles. Now, keep in mind, this is a showcase. On Thursday, we will be doing kind of a extended version of what I'm talking about here. It's a $99 class. It's going to be about 90 minutes. We do give you the recording and any supplementary materials that go along with it to help you verify the information for yourself. Okay. So this class here is really to promote the class that we have going on Thursday, where we're talking about the desired trade. Okay. So here we have a set of candles. I'll go into the details in just a moment. Okay. So we have a set for the buy zone, and we call this the leg in, a base, a leg out, and a base. Now, understanding what is a leg candle and a base candle is pretty simple. A leg candle, the body is greater than 50% of the range. Okay. And a base candle, the body is less than 50% of the range. Pretty simple. Okay, and we want to keep this very simple. We have a sequence of candles: leg in, a base, a leg out, and a base. And this would be used for when we are looking for an opportunity to go long in the market. We have a sell opportunity, okay, or sell zone. We have a leg in, a base, a leg out, and a base, okay? With each of these zones, the colors matter. For supply, we're looking for a leg in that is green. Base candles can be any color, and a leg out that is red. The first base candle after the leg out is where we'll place a, let's just call it a proximal line, and then we'll have a distal line that'll go up on the top, okay? Which marks the boundary of where we're looking for price to return to, okay? Now, we're going to use the left-hand side of the chart. We've already found a place on the chart where we have desired to take a trade, okay? So we already know that this is the desired trade entry. What we're going to do is look at the left-hand side of the chart right here, and we're going to look for that leg in, base, leg out, and another base, okay? So so that we can determine which is a leg candle and a base candle. I want you to hold me accountable for all of this, okay? Is I'm going to right click on the chart, I'm going to go out to studies, and I'm going to use a tool which is called a Doji tool. The Doji tool just simply puts a little blue dot on every candle that is a base candle. Okay, so as we open this up, you can see that there are blue dots on the candles where the body is less than 50% of the range, and no dot on the candles where the body is greater than 50%. So leg and base. Leg candles, no dot, and base candles have a dot, okay? So this one I'm going to do a little quickly for you because I've already kind of looked at a couple of them. And we're going to drop down to a 91-minute chart, okay? So why a 91? Is there magic in a 91-minute chart? No, not at all. When we're looking at this time frame or this chart, we're looking for the group of candles over here. Now, let me preface a couple of other things here. As we're looking for that leg in, base, leg out, and base candle, okay? Remember the body less than 50% of the range, and for a base candle, body greater than 50% of the range for a leg candle, okay? Now, a couple of other details, and this also works for the supply as well as the demand area. I only have one leg in, and it must be a leg candle, must be red, okay? In this example that I'm working on, we're doing a short trade, okay? So the leg in must be green. Base candles can be any color, and I can have 1 to 5 base candles between a leg in and a leg out. And I can have up to 4 leg out candles. Now, what we will have to do is adjust the time frame up or down to get the exact right picture for this group of candles, okay? So I've already done that in this example, and we'll use some other ones just to clarify. So as we open this up, I'm going to make this as big as possible. If you can't see it, please type in the chat and let me know. When you start to verify this information, take a vertical line and place it on the leg in between the leg in and the leg out, okay? Another vertical line on the leg out, okay? And in between the leg in and leg out, there can only be base candles, ones with the dots on them, okay? And based on the last example, we said we could have of 1 to 5 in there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And then we have a leg out. Then we have a first base candle after the leg out. So let's put a horizontal line at that first base candle. And let's put another horizontal line at the highest wick, tail, shadow of the entire leg in, base, and leg out, okay? So once we have marked that parameter of the leg base group of candles, we'll put a highlight on that just so that we don't lose our place. But we want to explore, see how price has dropped away from this area here, okay? What this represents to us is that there were more sell tickets than buy tickets at this point, okay? Now, the way that price left this area was so fast, so aggressive, that there's probably some leftover orders up there, okay? So once we start bringing that picture into play, okay, we start to see that the desired trade that we were looking for, okay, this was our desired trade. When we looked to the left, there was a specific group of candles, okay? That group of candles was present, price changed direction, okay? Now, this may be your first time you're ever looking at this, and you're going, well, wait a minute, that's pretty cool, okay? But there is other information over to the left-hand side of the chart that builds on this, okay? And it helps us locate within a sell territory where to look for that trade opportunity. We have a 5-step process that we walk our students through. First, we find that support or resistance. Now, support and resistance just helps us recognize where the buyers kept coming in to push the price back up. Well, above the buyers would be where all the sellers are looking to push the price down. Okay. So using colors to help you with the learning and processing of this information, the upper part becomes a sell territory. Okay, so we're just going to label that up here. Our sell territory. Okay, this is where all the sellers are hanging out. And down below, this is where the buyers kept coming in. So buyers kept coming in. And we call this support. Okay. Now we do have some very specific criteria in how we qualify a support or resistance area, and also how we cover that sell territory. I'm not going to get a lot into that at the moment. But the location is very important where you find that leg base group of candles. Okay. Super important for this. Now, when we have a picture on a price chart of a trade that we desired to get into, all of this information has to be present when the banks and institutions have leftover unfilled orders. Now, price dropped here, not because there were more sellers, but there were no buyers. Okay. The assumption is we do have a larger stack of sell orders at this point. Okay. Now, if and when price returns to that area, we see that there were leftover orders, okay, and price jotted off of that. As we bring up, I'm just randomly picking stock. Now, if you have any charts you want to look at to find a desired trade, I'm happy to accommodate you on that, okay? So another example. Here's a place I desired to take a trade, okay? Right there. How many would like to have gone long right there? And I'm just going down, I mean, randomly picking out charts, okay? So if I had a desire to enter a trade right here and take that move to the upside, I need to look left. I need to circle the area over to the left where price dipped back into, and I need to look at the price chart here. Let's open it up. And it looks like we have a few of the candles present. Okay, I can turn the time frame up or down to get a little more detail. Okay, but let's put a vertical line on the leg yen. Now remember, in a demand zone, the leg yen must be red and the leg out must be green. Placing a vertical line on the leg out. In between the leg out and the leg in must be base candles only. And we can only have a maximum number of 5 candles in there. Okay, 1 to 5. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that fits the criteria. The first base candle after the leg out, I can place an entry line, and right there at the lowest wick, tail, or shadow of the entire leg in, base, and leg out is where I'll place that stop line or distal line that some people use. So this group of candles is present. Now I'm going to go look over to the left and see, did my trade come back into that area? See, what we're starting to discover, what you may be starting to realize, okay, it does take me a lot more charts to go through, okay? Then when you look at any chart and you say, well, wait a minute, why did price change direction right there? Okay. What group of candles is always present when price changes direction? Okay. See, this is on a 120-minute chart, and I do not have the leg base group of candles in there. Okay. So let's drop down to, let's try 90. Oh, wow, they're just making this easy on me. Okay. So I use a specific numbers. I start with, like either 480, 240, 180, 90 minutes, 60 minute, and then I kind of break it down using the same time frames that most charting platforms come with. Okay. But once I start to get close, I may go to a 59 minute or a 58 or a 57 or somewhere in between right there. I may look for a different number. Okay. All I want to do is find out price change direction over here. Was the group of candles present? Okay. So in this one, again, I'm going to take a vertical line and place it on the leg yen. For a supply zone, the leg yen must be green always, and the leg out must be red. In between the leg in and leg out are base candles only. First base candle after the leg out is where I place my entry line, and then my stop line goes to the highest wick, tail, or shadow of that entire sequence. Okay. Now, again, another example. We found a place where we desired to take a trade going short. We looked over to the left, and that group of candles was present when price changed direction. Okay. So all of this is really quite profound as we start learning and using the left-hand side of the chart. We start looking for picture perfect trades that have already happened. Okay. How about a trade to go long down here? I mean, price just dipped right in. Let's just take this one over here. Let's go long right there. If I want to go long right here, where do I have to look? Oh, sure, Annie, I'd love to. Okay. So let me finish this one up. We got Apple. Okay, so I'm going to look right over in this area here. Okay. And I'm going to place a vertical line on the leg in and place a vertical line on the leg out. In between the leg in and leg out, base candles only. My distal line goes at the lowest wick. My proximal line goes to the first base candle after the leg out. Again, we're making the association that that group of candles is present and price change direction. Now, there is additional pieces of information on here as well that I could use. Identifying my resistance area where we have 3 touches or more, where the sellers kept pushing the price down. And of course, we want to find the area where the buyers kept pushing the price up. Okay. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of this information in such a short time that we're going to be hanging out here. Okay. But I do want to make you aware of it. Most traders do not know what a picture perfect past trade looks like. They keep trying to figure out what's going on the left hand or the right hand side of the chart without using the left hand side of the chart. Everything is priced in to the market ahead of time. Okay. Hi, Jimmy. Good to see you. Well, a great question, Jimmy, and I'll address that right now. So in this picture, okay, let's just call it a picture perfect past trade. Okay. We got our desired entry. Okay. It's still working, has not stopped us out. The information contained over here, I had more than 3 touches of resistance where they kept pushing price down. Price broke out. And in that breakout, we made a lower low. That means the zone is generally going to be located closer to the lower part of the buy territory. Okay. Now, the leg base group of candles creates the zone, correct? Because when this is being created right now, that's what we would call the zone. We have enough evidence right here to call that a zone. Okay. So once price retests that area, this is a pivot. Okay. So knowing the difference between a pivot point and a zone. The pivot point is a retest of the zone that we've created over here. Did that help? Thanks for the questions too. And tear this apart, okay? My hope and my intention here is in this short video here is to give you enough information to verify what I'm talking about, okay? So let's bring up Netflix here. Annie, do you have a specific time frame that you would like to look at for Netflix? Okay. So it looks like we had a couple of good trades over here. I just want to find someplace on here. Let's do a little larger time frame. Maybe step out to a daily. Okay. Now it's a little more intense when I get into showing you the gaps. That's going to be for a later topic. Okay. A 480-minute chart. Just changing the time frame. Now the time frame doesn't matter, because what we're looking for on this price chart right now is proof. Okay. We want to say, well, wait a minute. I see a place on this chart where I desire to take a trade long. I'd love to go long here. We could look for a desired trade to go short here. I mean, just basically every pivotal area, we can look to say, you know, why did price change direction? Okay. And we have something right here. I mean, that's a nice move to the upside. So each and every time we have a place on the price chart where we desired to have taken a trade, I want you to look left. Okay. And it doesn't matter what time frame you start with. Okay, because you're going to have to adjust the time frame up or down. Circle that area. Sometimes it's just going to be right there in front of you. It's like, wow, okay. But this one here, I'm going to have to adjust the time frame a little bit. Okay. See, if we have a place where we desire to take a trade short or desire to take a trade long, we want to see over to the left. Was there a footprint the banks and institutions left there? Was there a footprint? Okay. So let's go with the long. Since it's already on this page right here, I just have to spread the candles apart. Let's place a vertical line on the leg in. Okay, and a vertical line on the leg out. In this case, we have two leg outs, so I'll just go on the first one. Okay. And as you hear my voice, okay, listen to what I'm saying. Now I have a vertical line placed on the leg in and a vertical line placed on the leg out. In between the leg in and leg out can be base candles only. Okay. I can have 1 to 5 base candles. I can have 1 to 4 leg out candles. The first base candle after the leg out is where I'll place my entry line. The second line I will place at the lowest wick, tail, or shadow of the entire leg in, base, and leg out. Okay. Now I'm showing you some pretty simple ones. There are some that take you a little bit of time to figure out. Okay. But it's so specific that even a computer could replicate. Okay. So as we keep doing this, it takes about 50 to 100 times to go, holy crap, there's something there. Okay. Price changed direction, and over to the left, that group of candles was present. Now we're going to turn this into a forward-looking technique as well, but I have a little proving to do here. Okay. When you have a trade you desire to take, you look left and you keep coming up with the same group of candles. Okay. Now let's go up here and look at the one over to the left. Now this one may take just a little more time, and to help save us on time, I'm going to change the style here, customize, and I'm gonna chop off the chart. Back to March 13th. That way I don't have to keep scrolling so much, okay? So. Maximize the chart. We're gonna look in this circled area now for that leg base group of candles. In the beginning, when you're starting to adjust your picture for this, stick with some of the normal timeframes that many people use, okay? But one way to accelerate your learning curve on this is to start adjusting it 1 minute at a time. I just go to 479. Okay. Now sometimes these make some pretty weird looking charts. Okay. You're like, what's going on? That's just because of the way that the time has set. Okay. We'll talk more about that later. Okay, I'm going to go to 240-minute chart to keep it simple. Okay. 240-minute chart. Remember the process, right? We place a vertical line on the leg in. We place another vertical line on the leg out. In between the leg in and leg out, can only have base candles. I can have 1 to 5 base candles. The first base candle after the leg out is where I'll place my entry line, and my stop line will go to the top of that group of candles. I'll then highlight the area. Okay. Then we'll look back over to the left to see and make the association. I mean, that's a trade a lot of you like to take, isn't it? I mean, the risk is the distance of the zone, but again, that group of candles was present and price changed direction. Okay. So let's take this a little bit further. Okay. I'm going to put the time back on the chart here. Customize. And please feel free to ask any questions here, okay? It's important that you tear it apart, okay? And the reason is because there have been so many things that many of you have learned over the years and say, no way, how could this be in front of me the whole time and I didn't see it? Well, look at the people that make this software, okay, and many softwares out there, they give you specific time frames to look at. And most of the time, people don't deviate from that. Well, what if I don't find the right picture on a 15-minute chart? Well, why not go to 14 or 13 or 12, 11, and so on, okay, to get the right picture? See, something happens when you're going after the right picture. Your conscious and subconscious mind, they come together. See, when the picture's not right and you're getting into a trade, your whole body's going to feel a little bit tense. You're going to feel uneasy about this, okay? So what we want to do is say, okay, well, how do I get that to align? Well, the way that we get that to align is by adjusting the time frame up or down to get that right picture, okay? For example, if we're looking over to the right-hand side of the chart, and I'm taking current price and I'm going down and I'm looking for places where we have very strong moves up, okay? And then I notice just at a glance here that I have that leg base group of candles. So I highlight the area, map it out. Okay. I will also use some additional information to make sure that that area, okay, that group of candles is in the right location. And to do that, I need to see that resistance was touched, okay, or there was a resistance area. So I put my line across the top, and for my parameters in my trade plan, price must hit the sellers minimum 3 times, okay? So as we're looking at this area right now that I just put a box around, And it is a range where the sellers kept coming in. Sellers pushed price down here. Or let's not call it sellers, let's just say there were more sell tickets than buy tickets. We don't have to make an association that there was a person doing it, okay? There was just, the only reason price ever changes direction is because there's more sellers sell tickets than buy tickets. So as we discovered that resistance area, and I'll go ahead and extend this across, okay? We have where all the sellers pushed out. Now that makes the area below to be a buy territory. I mean, the only reason price goes up is there's more buy tickets than sell tickets, okay? So we're looking for those buy tickets, and we're seeing that price did move up, met the sellers. Now, once all the sellers were depleted, price broke through that very quickly. No more sell orders. In fact, price went through this area and went through this congested area as well. All filled orders, okay? The other part of this is that when we look at using a pivot point or using our structural pivots, we're going to use the resistance area as that turning point. We want to see that price was tested up here multiple times. Now, the importance of drawing the structure inside the buy territory is to get an idea of where to look for that leg base group of candles. Okay. So as we have mapped out that structure, we see that we have made a higher low than the prior low. Now, very often when we make a higher low before price breaks out of that area, okay, the leg base group of candles is located in the upper 2/3 and closer to the breakout point. So let's look at this as a trade opportunity. Okay, let's take this out of the way. A trader that is used to playing breakout trades could have an opportunity to take a trade here at the breakout. Okay. In order to take a breakout trade, the zone must be created first. Starting to see a sequence here, aren't you? No, Jimmy, the leg base group of candles must be specific. Okay. So this pattern here to give us a breakout trade, okay, as long as we had the specific criteria and we understand how to use the left-hand side of the chart, because there's some obstacles over here, okay. But once price is taken out, okay, when we have a higher low, very often the leg base group of candles is closer to the breakout point, okay. Now, we did all of this information gathering to anticipate that if and when price came back down to this area, there would be some leftover orders. So I started looking across the top up here. Well, do I have a support area? See, once you start to realize that price only changes direction because of an imbalance of orders, you start looking at where you could have the opportunity to take that breakout trade and where you could have an opportunity to take a trade when price comes back down to find the buyers. So as we visualize the right side of the chart, we would anticipate price dropping into that zone, finding the buyers, and then looking for price to run back up to find the opposing sellers. Okay. Now there are some other, well, there's a lot more detail that we'll get into on Thursday when we get into drawing this out. And we'll be looking for where we have buyers, where we have sellers. Option traders, okay, how could you use this information to put on a diagonal or a spread or even a directional trade you could do by knowing the areas where to have the strike prices at. Okay. Where is the price going before it finds any more buyers? Okay, so a lot of information can be shared here as we start to establish that picture on the price chart. Okay. So there's a question in the chat. Can you have a leg in and a leg out side by side than a base? And the answer is no. Okay. See, we want to make this, and as an instructor teaching everybody out here, and I take that very personally, that I want everybody to be able to replicate this. Okay. All I am is an instructor. I'm sharing pictures on a price chart to help you see the picture, and then you formulate your own trading plan around this. Okay. But in the beginning, if you're learning these type of patterns, you're learning this type of a picture on a price chart. Okay. It must be very, very specific and very detailed. Okay. And I don't want you to deviate from it. Right now, you're still learning it. And in the learning process, okay, it's best just to replicate it, okay, rather than trying to fix it. Okay. The leg base group of candles. And does anybody else have I like when you guys call out a chart to go look at. And it could be stock, futures, or Forex. Okay. But I'll wait for you guys to type in there. The purpose of having a very specific picture on a price chart. Okay. Leg base group of candles. Okay. Knowing the different parameters is when we go back and start looking at a desired trade outcome, we start looking at that group of candles that's present when the trade manifested. Okay. We also use other supporting evidence, when we take in a breakout trade versus a leg base group of candles. Okay. The zone must be created before the breakout trade. Okay. And then when price comes back down to this origin, we start to trust it over time. Okay. Again, the leg base group of candles for the supply area, and also the earlier one from a demand. Everything must be so specific that a computer can replicate it. And that's why I walk through, putting a vertical line on the leg in, putting a vertical line on the leg out, and giving you some of those details so you could follow. See, what you want to look at when you go home or you start looking at charts is you want to say, all right, I desire to take a trade short here, but I don't see that leg base here. Well, we do see that little wick over wick. Okay, now I'll have to go out and find one that we can use that on, or you guys can present one to me. Okay, but what we'd start to do is reduce the time frame. And you will see that if you keep reducing the time frame, you will find that leg base group of candles. If that leg base group of candles is present and price change direction, then as I'm looking for price to find the buyers, and I would look for each and every one of them. Okay. But you do need to understand that there is additional information on the left-hand side of the chart that will allow you to choose which zone is going to be better to use. So all of this, what I've been working with you on here, okay, and I've gone a little bit over in my time. I want to give you the details, okay, but I just don't have enough time to do it in just a few minutes I've been sharing with you. On Thursday, September 21, between 5 and 6:30, Caitlin and I will be doing a presentation, 90 minutes, on learn how to identify the specific group of candles using the Elite Trades leg base. Now, the reason we use the desired trade is we want you to connect to it emotionally. Because in pictures or shapes and patterns, that's where our subconscious mind works, or the intellectual brain, okay? And if that has a bad feeling, then the trade often doesn't work for us, okay? So when we're looking at that picture, we want the shape and the pattern, everything to be lined out. We want to give you that information. We want to do it in a nice, organized way, and we'll have the You will be able to have access to the recordings and such. To sign up for that, you can use the QR code, okay, that's on your screen right now, or you can go out to the our website, theelitetrade.com, and go down to our upcoming course. We do have a couple more of these showcases that we will be doing throughout the week. So if you want to revisit, okay, in our live community trading room, okay, live trading community room, okay, where traders that we have worked with, we just kind of hang out on Thursday and Friday, okay. And on Thursday and Friday, we will be doing our own trading, but we'll take a few moments to exploit some of the leg-based group of candles in a live trading environment. You're all invited to come into that as well. And the QR code will get you the registration. And there's no charge for that, okay? If you have a desire to learn all the details and put it together, I need a little more time with you, okay? We have a Mastering the Charts 3-day course. Now, this is on Saturday and Sunday, September 23rd, 24th, and then Monday, the 25th, okay? 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. This goes so fast, okay? There's a lot of details that we get into, and you'll find that it's very interactive, very engaging. We do have quizzes, and there's a lot of information that comes out. In fact, many of our students watch the videos from these over and over again until it starts to sink in. Okay, so Mastering the Charts 3-day live event. You have lifetime access to all the recordings, okay? We also include a 1-month follow-up, which is the Mastering the Charts review and recap. The review and recap is where we come in and review the live trading room, which we've done some trades in there from the earlier session. And then we go into some lessons. One of the lessons that we worked on today was understanding the structures, okay? And this is a trade that we're still working on. So we started this trade by working on, well, when does a trend change? I mean, we had a nice downtrend this morning, okay? When does that trend start to change? Well, you have to make a lower low first. Once that lower low happens and price starts to bounce up, we start looking for where the sellers are at, okay? Remember, in order to take that breakout trade, I needed to have a zone below it, a leg-based group of candles, okay? We took 2 micro futures contracts long, which was under $1,000 of working capital. One of the other courses that we just taught last week was talking about trading futures on a budget, using less than $1,000 of working capital per trade, okay? So we use $924 working capital using this broker. And I realize there's some other brokers out there that would charge a lot less as far as tying up the margin for the NQ. The information that we shared in the Mastering the Charts review and recap was identifying the structure. See, this structure where we had 3 touches of the resistance over on the right side and the low pivot on the left was some of those details that lead to a long running trade. Okay. Now I'm alluding to some of these things, but as you get more familiar and you test these things out over and over again, you'll be able to find places on the price chart where you have unfilled orders. Also in this example as well, we had this area between the resistance and a solid support, okay, where price had done many transactions in here, and we call that the dead space. And in the dead space, we should have easy price movement, okay? We had easy price movement to the downside because all the orders were filled, okay? And then to the upside, we still have a little bit more to get up there and fill that gap, okay? Which I expect to happen by the tomorrow morning session, okay? So a lot more detail. We do live trading, and as we stipulated before, you know, we are coaches, okay? You trade your own account, your own way, enter the trade. You could use micros, minis, or full contracts, okay? Get the education, get the understanding of how this works. Now, we'll be doing some more showcases, as I just pointed out. Thursday, September 21st, just need to register, and you'll come in and you'll start to see how our community room works together to help find trade opportunities. Okay, and sometimes we're talking about recipes and normal chit chat. It's a group of traders helping traders. Okay, it's one of my favorite times of the week, Thursday, Friday, where I get to spend time with the students and just walk through trades, see what they're trading, and then help them get to the next level. So go get signed up. If you want to learn more about the desired trade, sign up for the 90-minute session. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this session, and we'll see some of you tomorrow morning in the live trading room. And go out and visit our website if you're first time looking at this, theelitetrade.com. Have a good day, everybody, and thank you again.